Hi folks, welcome back to Homestead Aquarius. Today is a very special day for me, and I'm glad you're here to witness this. And also glad that this time of the year I've got some good tips to share with you. I'm going to put this in the Nature's Gardener series. Now, why is this day so important to me? It's because I found this again. I have been looking for my little nippers for about 2 weeks now, and now I got them back. I put these in that backpack a while back when I went on a trip, little foraging trip or something I went on, and I had forgot that I left them in there with a couple other things. But I was lost without these things. Oh, it frustrated me so much. So anyhow, big day, I've got these back. Now, what I'd like to talk to you about today, this is the time of the year when it's perfect, okay? When you're talking about late summer into early fall, look at here. Now, here in Alabama, in southeastern United States, it's still pretty warm. Winter is still a long ways off, but fall is not. Now, we can see, like I showed you there before, let's see, that right there, the American beautyberry, right? That plant right there is special to me. Many plants are. And during the summer, it can be a little bit hard to figure things out of what kind of plants are what. But this time of the year is perfect for doing so. If you want to learn about natural plants and what you can find out there and then use them for later, got some tips for you. Let's see. Although everything is green and it can be confusing, here is tip number 1 for you. I'll give you right now. Start with just one species at a time, okay? Just one. Just pick out one, all right? That American beautyberry right there. If you learn about that one plant, then as you're driving down the road or walking through the woods, you'll learn to see that one plant. Just one. Now, if you want to add up several of them in the beginning, that's fine. But the way I learned the best is just one at a time. There's a few that, I mean, that's how we learn things anyhow. Just one little thing at a time. That's all we can do. You can't catch so many balls thrown at you at once, right? So learn one species and how to identify it, and then you add another one as you go along. And then pretty soon, when you're walking around, you'll see lots of them. You'll know that's a blackberry, that's American beautyberry. You'll know these things. There's a pokeberry. Look back there. That tree right there looks like an American persimmon. You'll know, that this is an elderberry. You'll know that is devil's walking stick, or whatever it is you're looking for. You'll be able to identify. Just learn, one species at a time, and go find them. You'll be able to see them and know what they are from a long distance away. Now, this time of the year is excellent for marking your plants, okay? Now, you see this right here? We know what this is. This is a little pimento biquina, or biquina. It means little bird's beak pepper. And by now, everybody knows that this came from John at Will It Grow. Great man. Now, but later on, if I don't protect this, it'll be dead. And most everything that I have here in my part of the world will be dead looking. It'll still be alive. It'll be living there up underneath the soil and the roots. But everything will look just like this. It'll be it'll be dead looking on the top, right? You won't be able to see it. You know, trees will all blend in together. Trees, and you know, they'll all look the same. The bark, you know, is going to be harder to figure out. But if you've got leaves right now, that is what you want to go for, your leaves and your bark, and be able to identify. You'll know what you're looking at later, okay? So this is the right time of the year to be doing this. Follow along with me and I'll show you a few things. Right now, it would be hard for most people to tell the difference between this little tree right here and this little tree right here, okay? But because it's summertime, we can tell that this tree is a sumac. And we can tell that this tree is a mulberry because of the leaves. A mulberry tree is one of the easiest trees for me to identify, even from a long way off. But not by the bark, by the leaves that are also present. I've even got other things too, like this goldenrod. Now, we learn things as we go. Here I am over 50, and I call myself a naturalist, and, you know, I'm very interested in everything about nature, but I just learned a couple of days ago that goldenrod was a superfood. In addition to it makes so many people have allergic reactions, those flowers are edible, and the leaves as well. It's a very powerful food. Maybe something you want to get to know. But if I'm lucky, I learn at least one new thing every day. And the more I learn, the more I can unpack out of that backpack every day and use, or use it one day. Now you see, I can tell right here now that it's summertime and I've got all the leaves that this is a sweet gum, right? Now I can also look at the bark of a sweet gum and know what it is. You see all that gnarliness there? I can know what I'm looking at. Another very good way to learn about plants that are in your area is just simply to walk along the roads in your neighborhood. I guarantee it, you'll find many things just growing wild on the side of the road. Now look here, this is on the side of the road. A little sweet gum tree right there. What have we got there? A little bit of greenbrier growing. That looks like an American persimmon right there. May not be, I'm not sure. Now pine trees in my area, they stay evergreen. And they've got a distinctive look about their bark anyhow, right? Pine trees are easy. Greenbrier right there. As we go along, there's many things we can find. You can get you a good field book of plants, or 2 or 3. The Peterson's guides are some of the best ones that there is, probably the best. You can get those out and start just taking a walk in your neighborhood. Typical suburban neighborhoods have many little areas that are just off the side of the road that you can learn from. Learn to find out what these plants are. Right now, during the summer, I can look at this tree right here, and I can see from those leaves that this is some type of wild cherry. Now, that bark right there is also distinctive. Learn about it and use your skills now. Late summer, it's a little cooler. There's more greenbrier, making it easy for anyone. I'm not sure what this is, but this is beautiful. It's about to come out and be a beautiful purple plant, and probably has some other use besides being pretty. There are an awful lot of plants out there, like right here. This looks like a little bit of wild comfrey, right? Let's see, what else did I have over here? Oh yeah, that right there. Let me just put this stick down for a minute. You don't find these things out unless you go look for them. This is an American dogwood. I don't know if there's other species of dogwood, but you see those red berries? Right now, it's producing fruit. That's one of the things we always looked for when we was kids, is a dogwood. Because my mother was always on the look for some and to try to transplant them into the yard from the wild. Now here's another thing. Just because you're out there somewhere, don't be dumb and think it's okay for you to just go trespassing in somebody else's woods or on their land and just snatch out whatever plants you want to. That's called illegal. So make sure you get your permission from somebody and do things the right way. That'll keep you out of trouble. Might keep you from getting hurt or being thrown in jail. Let's go into the woods now. We'll see what we can find in there. Now I found something kind of cool. In my part of the world, we have what's called a hickory tree. And you can see those hickory leaves. They've got a distinctive shape, color. Well, they are incredible. What we like to do around here is we like to barbecue. And we like to use hickory wood. So we'll cut down these trees and use that to barbecue and smoke our meat. It's awesome stuff. Hickory. Now there's all kinds of hickory trees. There's several. That's not the kind we normally use. But here's another way to tell that this is a hickory tree right here. What we're looking at is the leftovers of a squirrel that's been sitting way up in that tree having him a meal of these hickory nuts. Here's one right here. Still got the hull on it, right? Now it's got a worm in it. That's from last year. But that squirrel, he been up there, he done opened one of these up green, right? And got at it with his teeth. If you want some excitement, grab yourself a live squirrel, a wild one. I've done that before with some heavy gloves on. And I put him down real quick too. But yeah, you get outside. That's the thing right now. You get outside and you see these kind of things. Here's one right here. Now squirrel, they like their particular food, and they'll get up in a tree. They'll get way up there, and when it's time to eat, they'll just sit up there and gnaw these things open and have them a good time. And they're not going to get eaten by a cat on the ground. And sometimes, you know, they're not very clean, and it all drops right down there. So you could even look on the woods floor to see what you're looking for. Little indicators. What you're seeing right here is greenbrier, and it's something that really does not like to be focused on. So I finally got it the right place. You see those? Those are pretty wicked. It's a wicked vine, and it can get pretty big. Now these leaves here, right? These are the leaves of the greenbrier, but there's many types. The family name is called smilax, and there's many of them. But the leaves are edible. The berries are edible. Now, look up all this stuff, and I think you really want to get them when they're ripe. But I guess the vine would be too, but it's too hard, too prickly. But just up under there, there's an edible tuber that many people have counted on throughout the years to make it. It's one of the wild foods, but it stays green year-round most of the time. So it's like the pine tree. It marks itself. You got something that looks ouchy like this and is green during the winter around here, that's what it is most likely. It's most likely greenbrier. So there's some things that mark themselves. I found a nice example of an American dogwood right here. As far as I know, dogwoods are only native to America. I could be wrong. I'm not an arborist or an expert in botany. I don't know. And I also don't know about the edibility of those berries right there. What I can tell you, though, is this. unless you know for sure 100% what you're looking for, you need to consider it to be a harmful thing. Don't go out and eat berries if you don't know what they are. That's the way people suffer and die in nature, okay? And that's consequently also, or coincidentally enough, the way that we found out what is edible. By people going off and eating things that they didn't know what they were, and then one of them getting sick and dying, okay? They say, okay, we're not going to eat that anymore, all right? Now, finding this little dogwood here, I've got several of them right around here. Okay, right now, this time of the year, we have leaves to identify, to help identify the plants that we're looking for, right? Now, this is an American dogwood, okay? You see that bark, it's pretty distinctive. And it makes a nice little middle-sized tree. Some of them can get big, but they won't get as big as an oak. This little one here, you know, that may be something that you want to transplant when the weather gets dormant, okay? If you do, one of the best things to do is to get you an old t-shirt. This one here, I cut into some strips, and this is a little bit too long for a strip, but this old t-shirt has been sitting out a long time. It's breaking down in the sun and the natural conditions. It's going to rot away. Now, if you were to take that and just simply find something that a tree that you want, preferably, like I said, it's on your property or property that you have, you know, the ability to be on, and it'd be okay. Just tie it off and mark it, right? If something happens to you or whatever, you don't find it again, this t-shirt material will just rot off and fall down without hurting the tree. But the main point of this video is right now in the late summer, early fall, or really late summer, you've got leaves to identify trees with. That's the biggest thing. Later on, when it starts cooling off in my part of the world, all of these will go dormant. They'll put all their energy into the roots. You dig them up in cold weather, and then you transplant them to where you want them. Now, that can be for trees, vines, any kind of plants like that that you're looking for. And that goes for my part of the country, where it does get wintertime and summertime. Some places it stays warm year-round or cold year-round. And there'll be different rules that apply. Now, something else. There's other ways that you can do things. Here's another plant that is native to my part of the world. This is called a Solomon seal. It's an edible plant if you know what you're doing. Now, down below the ground is a tuber, okay? We've got leaves and berries here, okay? These are poisonous, okay? I can't stress enough to you, you need to learn about the plants in your area, okay? I can't stress that strongly enough. You need to know how to find out exactly what it is, what parts of the plant that are edible, and even what times of the year, okay? This is a beautiful plant, and I'm very much interested in having as much of it as I can on my property. These little berries here, I'll be collecting them. And what I may be doing soon is digging up the roots that go here as well. But you learn about the plants in your area and take now as a time while things are still green and you've got leaves to help you identify things. These are some of the leaves off of the trees that I've shown you today. Not all of them, but it shows you that, hey, look at that ant, big ant, okay? But look at that. When you've got that to go by, even things like poison ivy, stand out. You've got the leaves to go by, because pretty soon everything going to be dead and brown just like this, and you won't be able to tell. The leaves are all going to be crunched up and be dead. It's hard to tell. Even the plant stalks themselves will be dying back, and there won't be anything left up under or above the ground to tell you what's below the ground. So something like this, get you a stake and put it out. Now, if it's your own property, it doesn't matter. You want high visibility. Well, wherever you're going to be, it'll be someplace that you collect from that you, of course, have the permission to do so. So, put you a stake in there and get you something highly visible like that right there, like t-shirt material. And you can see that from a distance. You can find things later on when it's time to dig them up, and transplant them. And I can always recommend getting a good walking stick and making a spike, put a spike on the end of it. But yeah, if you're going to be hungry later, you might want to get you some stakes now and go mark out some of the plants that's in your territory and learn about them. Seems like there's a few other things that I wanted to say, but I can't think of what they are right now. Most important thing is, right now, at the time of this video, is a perfect time for you to be out looking at the plants in your area and learning to identify them, mark a few that you're interested in. You can find them, and that way you've got them for later use. But the main thing is right now to be squirreling away knowledge while you've got nature in her most excellent teaching mode, when everything is out and green and visible to you. Squirrel away that knowledge right now to come in handy later. With that pun, I think I'll leave it there and tell you goodbye. Thank you for coming back here to Homestead Aquarius today. I'm glad you're here, and I'll see you next episode. One more thing. If there's anybody that can tell me exactly what this plant is, there's the flowers, if you can see that good. All right, just this tall naked stem that comes from this plant down here. I've been wanting to know exactly what that is, and if there's anybody that can tell me what this is, I would appreciate it. Thanks a lot in advance for anybody that can.